Jason, it is really fascinating watching you guys get your way around a carcass. You just really have to know it like the back of your hand, don't you?
Yes, yeah, well, that's what you get for doing it for 20-odd years. So,
and all these different cuts you've got here.
Yeah.
Can you show me sort of like the cheaper cut? Because, like, a lot of people have written into the show and saying, hey, we don't have access to, you know, 60-day aged grass-fed
which is
rump,
totally
whatever
correct.
it is.
This one here is your prime example, which is your oyster blade.
Yep.
And it is absolutely fantastic. It's so tender and it's really not expensive.
I'd love to compare it to...
Well, why don't you, say, choose a Scotch fillet, which is a high-end steak. It's lovely.
A Scotch and an oyster.
There you go. Put them on the plate.
There we go.
So all I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a bit of oil on the steak. I don't put it on the pan.
Do you season before or after?
Before.
Yep.
So I'll be putting a bit of salt and pepper on as well. And we come up, really nice. Oh, there you go.
Some assistance?
Yeah, go for it. Bit of pepper too, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, apprentice again.
There you go.
Now we're going to put them on, so...
I'm really keen to see the difference, because, yeah, it's just not a cut that people buy as a steak, do they, oyster?
That's right.
Oyster blade is just beautiful. If you cut that in the steak and cook it up, it'll come up really nice.
Yep.
As a roast, oh, yeah, beautiful.
OK, so tell me about all these other cuts, Jason.
OK, so what we've got, obviously off our forequarter, is our Scotch fillet, which is obviously a beautiful cut of meat. And this is our Scotch fillet on the bone, which is obviously ribeye on the bone. Hugely popular at the moment, as you well know. Everyone's cooking it. And then you go down to your hindquarter cuts, which are your T-bone and your porterhouse, or your sirloin. That's basically the same cut. There's your, obviously, your sirloin in there, and the T-bone's difference is it's got the piece of fillet on the other side. And then you go back to your rump. And this little fella down here, which looks really, really appealing, is actually a stewing steak. It's actually skirt steak.
Fantastic. So how are you going there, Bill?
Oh, look, I'm going well. I've actually done two different ways. The oyster blade, I've done what they recommend these days, that you don't sear it, cook it one side. When the moisture starts coming through, like it is there now, then you turn it over. That's getting close to medium. Yep. So I'll flip that over in a second. Yep. And that's just turned once. That's all it is. So it's across there like that. Yep. Now, I sear the Scotch fillet as the old ways that they say. You know, sear your steak and it's got to be like this. So I've seared that, and as you can see, once again, still the moisture comes through. So it doesn't really retain it as what they say, but that's getting close to medium as well, and I will turn that one in a minute. That was only take a couple more minutes. That one a little bit longer, it's a little bit thicker.
Fantastic. OK, Jason, what would you recommend for a stir-fry?
Well, rump's really good for a stir-fry. Yeah, nice and tender.
Because I have seen so many recipes use skirt and it ends up really tough.
Yeah, I really think it's got to be slow cooked. You know, if you're going to cook that really fast, it's just going to become stringy and tough.
Definitely. Well, my roast is ready. Ah, that looks good. OK, I'm just going to pop some foil on top and let it rest. I'll come over to you.
So we've got our oyster blade and we've got our Scotch fillet.
Yep.
We need some sauce though, Bill.
Oh, what have you got there?
The Argentinian chimichurri sauce. Just all sorts of great stuff in there.
Yeah.
A bit of a...
Oh, that sounds good.
We've got flat leaf parsley, fresh oregano, red wine vinegar, olive oil. You describe it like running a steak through the garden. That's how it's best described.
Feels good.
No worries?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And that chimichurri sauce is just beautiful, really perfect with the steak, and it just lifts it a little bit. Yeah. Really zingy.
Yeah.
Nice and lean too. So it's a really nice steak for our health-conscious people as well, you know.
That is nice, a really good steak.
Yeah.
OK, Scotch fillet. Seriously?
We know what you're going to say.
Hardly any difference.
No, that's right.
That is amazing. I'm completely converted because that oyster blade is just as tender as that Scotch fillet. And half the price?
Half the price, definitely.
Good butchers use every bit of meat on the carcass. Bill and Jason certainly waste nothing, right down to the good quality trims to which they add rice flour and seasoning to produce a tasty sausage mince.
Here we go.
To make the final product, all they need is one sausage making machine, one keen apprentice, and some interesting advice.
So you want to put a reasonable amount of speed on it. Go!
Bit of a shock to start, but I'm soon on top of it. And do I sense some disappointment?
We were hoping for a big bang onto this wall of sausage meat, but we didn't get it.
Oh, born sausage baby.
You are.
But in other ways, you didn't waste any product, so it's a great job.
Yeah, well done.
She handled the machine quite well. It was a little bit disappointing, to be truthful.
Yeah, it was.
I wanted to see sausage meat everywhere.
All over the wall.
Yes.
That's what you were anticipating, weren't you?
Yeah.
And to punish you, you have to cook the sausages and you can carve the meat while I get on with the rest of my roast, OK?
Yes, we did dismally fail, Bill.
OK, so I'm going to get on with my cabbage and the gravy. And this cabbage I love because it just adds a little bit of acidity to the dish. And all it is some water and half a head of red cabbage, which seems like a lot, but it does stew down. And then I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, teaspoon of sugar, just to counter the acidity a little bit, and some salt. And our friend, butter.
Yay!
And that's it.
Well, why don't you have a taste of the sausage that you made yesterday,
I
all right?
shall.
And Jace, would
Thank
you like
you.
to have a taste of her creation?
Yeah, I think I better, Bill.
There you go, mate. Have a taste.
Thank you. Oh, I'm just going to grab it off me.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad for a first-timer.
Good.
Good, very good.
Very nice.
Don't even need sauce with them.
Well cooked, Bill.
Thanks for that.
OK, to make a really good gravy, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. So I'm just going to actually deglaze all this beautiful fat and juices from the meat. And to that, I'm going to add some flour. And you do want to cook the flour off because otherwise you'll be left with this uncooked flour flavour, which is unpleasant.
Do you want me to start carving this like a lamb? What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's see.
Thanks for going to the garden and grabbing me your pitchfork. That was fantastic.
I did it to spite Bill.
And I'm going to carve it to spite Bill as well.
Yeah, but you don't use a pitchfork. You shouldn't use a pitchfork. You should, use your tongs, but
Oh, yes,
I'll let it go this time.
And then I'm going to add some red wine.
Ooh.
And then I've got some beef stock. And then season it. So, touch of sugar, salt, and of course, a little bit of butter in the end to give it a nice gloss. Add a few more calories.
Love that butter, don't you?
OK, my gravy's ready. So, would you be able to give me a hand
Yeah.
there, Jason? I'm just straining the gravy to just give it a nicer finish. Beautiful.
Well done.
Oh, my gravy, that's good gravy. So we should plate up.
Let's go.
And how gorgeous is the colour of that cabbage?
Yummy.
And some of these potatoes.
I can't wait to have a tasting with the gravy.
Thanks, Bill. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Just put a bit of the gravy. Shall I just slather it on?
Yeah.
So that's a real meal, isn't it, Bill?
It is. The colours, everything.
Right.
What do you reckon?
Beautiful.
I tell you, the gravy with the meat, absolutely beautiful. The garlic in the and the rosemary, you can taste that.
That cabbage goes really well with the lamb.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? The acid of the apple cider vinegar.
Love that.
This is to say thank you for having me at the butcher.
Thank you. It was a pleasure having you, Pope.
That's all right, apprentice.
Well, I have to say that I didn't realise how much about being a butcher was actually about the frits.
It's the best thing in the world. Yeah. Would the little one like a slice of Fritz?
There you go. There's Fritz for you.
Thank you.
Oh, don't do that, darling. That's not nice. No, there you go. You put it in your mouth, not on the glass.
Hey, guys, come and clean the front, please.
Oh.